Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome back to a video where we talk about stuff. Today we're going to be talking about the next WoW expansion, primarily because a lot of people are talking about it as of late because there have been a few leaks. And people are saying these leaks are true, while other people are saying these leaks are stupid and completely untrue. However, if you just search WoW leaked expansion just in Google, you'll probably find everything I'm talking about. But right now, I think we're going to talk about the Xul and Ashara Dark Prophet expansion leak, because I like that one more than a couple of the other ones that were suggested. I think one is like Anduin. There's another leak with Anduin in it. I don't know, but I think this one makes more sense, so I'm going with this one. But mainly, I just wanted to talk about what could be next in World of Warcraft, because Warlords of Draenor pretty much coming to an end. I don't actually know if there's going to be another patch. There's some people saying there is, there's some people saying there's not. I don't actually know, whatever. But I always enjoy these types of things. I love the, would it be theory crafting? I enjoy just like talking about what could be. Even if it's not what it is, I think talking about what could be is really fun. So, in this leak, they talk about Xul and Ashara are the main villains. So, Queen Ashara, of course, who is a Naga. She used to be a Night Elf. And then there's Xul, who I believe is with the Zandalari. It says, after the last defeat, Xul has asked Rastakhan for more support, but Rastakhan has lost the confidence in Xul and refuses support. In a big coup, Xul has Rastakhan assassinated and assumes control over the Zandalari. Yeah. Then the Zandalari trolls ally with the Naga, whose goal it is to flood the continents and raise the ocean level. And from what I was reading and kind of like looking around at all the skepticism and stuff, people have been wanting this type of expansion for a long time. This is the, quote, South Seas expansion. And I guess what they're going to do is they're just going to try to flood Azeroth. So this would take us back to Azeroth, which I think is cool. We did that back in Cataclysm, and I kind of want to do it again. I like being in Azeroth, I'm not going to lie. That's where it all started, and it's always fun to go back there. I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw a video where somebody was showing the live stream of whoever the main, like, WoW developer guy is, and he was just like, you know, you won't be able to take your garrison stuff back to Azeroth in the next expansion, or he said something like that, and everyone's like, oh my god, he said back to Azeroth, does that mean we're going back to Azeroth? I don't know, but I'll take it and run with it as some sort of, like, skeptic would. Well, not skeptic, what would it be? There's a word I'm looking for, it's like, conspiracy. I guess it'd be more of a conspiracy. So it says the big focus of the expansion will be on the Night Elves and the Trolls, of course, with Malfurion and Vol'jin being the main heroes. This is Vol'jin's big opportunity to prove himself as the War Chief of the Horde, which would make sense since he got War Chief, and it's kind of like, all right, good job, Vol'jin, you're in charge now. And so having a troll-themed expansion seems like it would make sense, and he's like talking with his, you know, troll brethren, like, what you doing, man? And they're like, yeah, man. Yeah, that's an actual conversation. That's also in the leak. That's, you know, straight from it. And it says, big emphasis is Vol'jin's loyalty to the Horde. Despite the opportunity to be part of a newly risen troll empire, his story will be about resisting the temptation to join the Zandalari and stay with his family. Apparently there's going to be a new class called the Shadow Stalker. And pretty much every race can be this class. And wait, can pandas be it? I think every race but pandas can be a Shadow Stalker, according to this. Class will be a ranged class that uses bows, crossbows, and guns, and it will have a heavier focus on magic attacks, is what it says. I'm still trying to figure out how that would work. So, like, can they, like, shoot and then cast magic? Is it like a demon hunter? But it's not a demon hunter. Like, can they, like, shoot bows? Can they shoot magical bows or something? I don't know how it's gonna work, but it sounds cool. I don't know. I've been trying to think or figure this out, and I mean, I guess you can do like a mix of casting and bows. And somebody also said that there's only hunters right now as the range class. Like the only range class that can use bows and stuff is a hunter. That's a better way of saying that. And I was like, yeah, you know, that's true. So it would make sense to add another ranged damage class that can use like bows and stuff. So it's not completely out of the question. It says that the specs would be Dark Ranger, Spirit Mending, and Shadow Hunter. Dark Ranger and Shadow Hunter are DPS specs, and Spirit Mending is a healing spec. It also says new Shadow Stalkers will start at level 1, but players who buy the Dark Prophet will be able to create one Shadow Stalker at level 100. I don't know if I like that. However, it does sound like something Blizzard would do. So, again, I'm like, I can see that happening. New level cap will be 110, of course. The expansion will have 8 zones. It says these zones will be the Valerian Depths, Zandalar, Kulturas, Kazan, Telebeam, Plunder Isle, the Rift, and the Broken Isles. 2 starting zones will be Valerian Depths and Zandalar, and we get to describe some of these zones. The Valerian Depths are underwater zone with Naga similar to Vajjir, but smaller. It serves as the intro to the storyline revolving around the Naga. The story in this zone deals with Ozumat, we'll find out eventually, and the kidnapped Neptulon. Zandalar used to be the capital of the Zandalari before it was destroyed in the Cataclysm. This zone is completely ruined, and players will get here and figure out what happened to the trolls and what they are up to. And so after the starting zones, each player will board a ship that will lead them to either Kulturas for the Alliance or Kazan for the Horde. Obviously Kazan with the goblins and stuff. These zones will serve as capitals for the factions. Players will get their own ship here, which they use to travel around the islands, around the capitals. There will be also some questing. That also made me think of the recent shipyard that they've added to the garrisons. And I was like, wouldn't it make sense where, you know, they add like shipyards and like ship-based stuff, and then you get to this expansion, and they're like, hey, you're going to the South Seas, you got ships, you're used to using ships now, let's go use those ships, you know? That's some more conspiracy theories, but it sounds really good. It makes sense. You know, Blizzard's putting a lot of time and effort into making these ships that go around the South Seas. It also makes sense that they would put them in as like a garrison thing like they did. So it could just be they're testing out stuff for the South Seas with this current expansion and all the ship stuff. Telebeam is a tropical paradise. A group of peaceful trolls, the Sunspear tribe, live here. The zone is mostly lighthearted. Players have to help the Sunspear tribe against a new pygmy-like race that is giving them trouble. I like that. I would gladly do that. I want just the really happy Sunspear trolls that are just like, Gabba, how you doing? And then the little pygmy guys. That place sounds amazing. I'm all for it already. Plunder Isle, as you could have guessed, is pirates. And here you can recruit pirates for your crew, which is interesting. I guess that would be like followers? I think you're gonna end up getting like a pirate ship. I think it talks about this in a couple paragraphs. It says the Rift will be the first of 2 endgame zones. Here lies the Naga city of Nazjatar, which, if you've played Warcraft 3, which I now have, they love to talk about Nazjatar. All I know is whenever I click on, was it Lady Vaj, she would just be like, for Nazjatar, and I was like, okay. So, that'd be cool to see the Naga city of Nazjatar. That'd be pretty swag. And it actually tie into some Warcraft 3 stuff. Broken Isles are a group of islands, and it is the second endgame zone. This is overrun by a mix of troll and Naga forces. Here the Naga and trolls are going through the ruins of the tomb of Sargeras, whatever you prefer, in search of powerful artifacts. Tomb of Sargeras will be a dungeon. And if that's true, that would be awesome, because the Tomb of Sargeras is where Gul'dan went when he went insane and just died. Or, you know, Sargeras like took over his mind and just like, you know, he couldn't handle it. I just remember seeing that in Warcraft 3, and he was just like, I'll get you, Sargeras. And he was just like, oh, I'm evil. But they're both evil, so that'd be really cool to see that in WoW. I think that's awesome. Yeah, so all those things sound cool. And then, players will not only be able to travel with their ship from island to island, but also be able to explore the open seas and hidden islands. They'll be able to recruit a crew of pirates. Depending on what pirates you pick, they will contribute in different ways to your ship. For example, you can get a cook for your ship, which will unlock exclusive cooking recipes, and who will be able to cook for you. Other pirates might contribute with different abilities like professions, or as a barber on your ship, or by offering rare quests. Yes. And finally, it says Blizzard returns to creating multiple dungeons per zone. Expect 2 to 3 dungeons in most zones. Pirates, I think sounds really cool. I think it sounds like garrisons somewhat, but I think it sounds more of how they intended garrisons to be, and that's kind of as an almost like not an afterthought, but a nice addition to playing the game. You know, you don't rely on your pirate ship or your garrison or whatever it is. You kind of just have it there just as like a fun little thing. Like, hey, I can recruit some pirates. Maybe you have like a, you know, like it says a barber on your ship, so you can just go to the barber and change your hair if you like to do that a lot. Or maybe you have a cook on your ship to help you with your cooking, or stuff like that. And you don't have to have herbs grow on your ship that you can gather. That sounds weird though, growing herbs on my ship, man. And you know, gathering resources can go back to being gathered on land, not in a garrison. And you know, I think that's what it'd be, the pirate ship kind of quote buildings, if you will, because I think the crew of pirates would almost be like a mixture of followers and buildings. So maybe you'd have like a stable master instead of just having a stable, and you know, you recruit the stable master guy and he like gives you a new mount, or like helps you get new mounts, kind of like what the stable does, but except he'd just be a stable master guy on a ship, pirate guy. Yeah. But I'm sure they've thought up more things than me. If they're doing this, this may be completely untrue. All of this information may be completely false and meaningless to talk about. However, I love talking about things like this. I love thinking about what if this happens, because I think this is a really cool expansion idea. I love everything about this expansion. I think this would be probably the best expansion they've had since Cataclysm. I used to say Cataclysm was bad. I used to say Cataclysm was dumb. And after going back and leveling through all the stuff in Cataclysm, I really enjoyed what they did in Cataclysm. I thought it was awesome. There's so many quests that people never got to experience because they just kind of went straight to endgame and never went back to those old zones like the Barrens or 1,000 Needles and really experienced all the quests that they had available. And I think it was awesome. I underrated it at the time, and I think it was a pretty good expansion now that I look back on it. So I think it would be cool to go back to Azeroth. I think it's cool to go back to Azeroth. I think it'd be cool to focus on the trolls and the Naga. That'd be a cool expansion. A lot of people have been wanting this. I think it makes sense with a lot of things they've been tying into the game now, like the shipyard. I think that even if this isn't the expansion, they're gonna do an Azjara expansion sometime. Because a lot of people have been like, we thought this expansion would be like the second or third expansion like ever. Like instead of Wrath of the Lich King, they thought it'd probably be this one. Even like Burning Crusade, they thought it would be the South Seas expansion. So it's not like this isn't a possibility. This is a very real possibility. And I like the zones. I think the zones they have here are really cool. I would love to go to the Tomb of Sargeras and Nazjatar and see all the Zandalari stuff on Zandalar. Let's just go to Kazan. There's so many cool things. There's a lot of cool things, and the only thing I wish it would be a new race, because I always enjoy new races, because then I get to make a new character just because I'm like, I want to play this race now. or you can race change to it, either way. But I think after redoing all the models, they'd be kind of like, let's take a break. Then again, they may be making a new race, and this is all just completely false. And yeah. But I want to know, what do you think? Because obviously you now know what I think. Do you think this would be a cool expansion? Do you think it's dumb? Do you think it's completely untrue? Like, what percentage would you give this? I think, I would say, I know it's kind of like cliche, but I'd say it's like 50-50. I think there's a 50% chance this is the expansion. And I think there's a 50% chance this isn't the expansion. Because as much as I look through this and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, and this makes sense, that makes sense, this just all makes sense, there's still that possibility that this is just a random leak, nobody really knows, and Blizzard is doing something completely different. But we won't know until they announce something. And, I mean, what other expansions could there be? I think that would be a great topic for the comments, is what expansion do you wish Blizzard would make? I think we could think up some cool expansion ideas. And instead of just being like, what do you think of this? So either talk about what you think of this expansion idea leak that happened, or what type of expansion you would want to see or create or whatever. Also, I have the video, if fans created a WoW expansion. You go check that one out. Pretty great. It's kind of related to this, because it's just stupid. Like, you know, it's a funny video. Go watch it if fans created a WoW expansion. Either way, thank you for listening, and see you.